Welcome, everybody, to the Joe Lee podcast. As always, I am your host, Joseph, and accompanied is.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? We're back to our weekly podcast. So what's up with the COVID? It looks like we got a bunch of players on COVID protocols. And what do you think about the situation? And especially that playoffs are kind of like around the corner. Do you think that this is going to impact the playoff seedings?
Really, it's hard because a lot of teams either have really tough schedules or like really easy schedules, and like the teams with the harder schedules, I think it's gonna affect them the most. But yeah, there's just like I can't even count like the number of players that are out. I'm sure there's somebody out there who has the exact number for each player. I know the Chargers have like about 3 to 6 guys, and they're pretty essential people. I'll get more into that as we go, but as we talk about the Week 16 games. But yeah, pretty rough as far as the COVID stuff. I know the LA Rams have about an estimate of 20 to 25 players on COVID reserve. Not sure about the Niners. I think
Niners have none right now.
They have none. Okay,
I need that. Good. I need that. Like as a Niners fan, I need that.
So yeah, the COVID situation is pretty bizarre. We did see a little bit of backlash from certain players, especially Baker Mayfield was the one kind of leading that charge, which good for him. He was arguing that the NFL didn't really care about player safety. He didn't say outright that the NFL was being greedy, but he did imply it in his tweets that possibly the NFL did not care about player safety as far as like the NFL protocols, and that they were going to continue the games as per usual. But as we saw earlier in the week, that was not the case, and they actually ended up moving games like we had suggested in our live stream last week. So yeah, things are turning out to be a little bit better as far as the situation with COVID, but I would think that like at least from now until the end of this season, we're gonna see a lot more games being moved.
Yeah, that's crazy but I also feel like it's not postponed further enough for some of the players to return to play. So even last night, actually not last night, it was yesterday when Raiders play against the Browns. Baker Mayfield couldn't play because he's on COVID protocol. So it didn't really help him that much. And I almost feel like because it was such a close game, I felt that if he had to play along with some other teammates, they had a chance, so it's just like the games got postponed, yes, but then if they were given like extra week, maybe the game outcome would be very different.
Yeah, I think the Browns game, if I'm not mistaken, was won by a field goal.
So the Raiders only won by 2 points.
Yeah. So at the time of recording, the last game has been Minnesota versus Chicago, and the Las Vegas Raiders versus Cleveland. So there's 2 games tonight, but we will not be talking about those. But yeah, it's just I think if Baker would have been in there, it would have been a different outcome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sucks for Cleveland because it means that they're inching a little farther behind that playoff spot. But it's good for Vegas because I guess they're moving up a little bit in the hunt. But yeah, COVID is definitely a reason why that determined the outcome of that game. And I mean, that's the most popular example that I can see.
But you also got me a little bit nervous too, because you put out a Mahomes picture with a Santa hat. I was like, wait, Mahomes got COVID, but
No, no,
no,
no,
like
no. Yeah,
it
the
was actually
thumbnail.
like we learned earlier that you also posted this, right? Like apparently Travis Kelsey, he's on the COVID protocol.
Yes, which was a coincidence. I didn't make the thumbnail with the Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs quarterback, on there to
Mhm.
insinuate that certain players had COVID.
Yeah,
I just thought like he was red. It was Christmas spirit. So, but I
we
guess
do a
not.
Christmas theme here.
Yeah, I was trying to go for the Christmas theme, but I guess it didn't work out. So super coincidental that Travis Kelsey and a bunch of other Chiefs players have COVID. Um, but yeah, you're just seeing a lot of really good players getting put out of action. Now, just because someone is on COVID reserve doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to play. As far as some of the rule changes go, I believe it is a day-by-day basis, and one negative test, as long as you're asymptomatic, meaning you're not coughing, you're not high temperature, you're not,
Mhm.
anything that would indicate that you're sick, means that you will very likely be playing. And again, that's like decided the day before the game. So, I mean, people that these teams can put them on the COVID reserve, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to stay on there the whole week.
Yeah, yeah. But wouldn't you want them to at least have some practice before? Let's say if they're eligible to play, but they got cleared the day before the actual game, would you actually play them? Because they probably missed the practice time, right?
Yes, but on the other hand, we're like at a point in the NFL season where like you should already be in sync with the rest of your team.
Right.
Not saying that, practice isn't important, but when you're at a certain level, kind of like Travis Kelsey,
Mm-hmm.
practice isn't like 100% necessary.
Yeah.
So it's probably better to keep him away from preventing him spreading it to others. And then he jumps back in the game or into practice the day before, than him, like, I guess, possibly spreading it around to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know, like if it was like somebody who had just been traded or somebody who had just signed from free agency that, had COVID, just got COVID, then I guess,
Right.
yes, that's more of an impact because you need time to be more in sync with your team. But as far as like some veteran players or players that are just generally good, I don't think so. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
That's good. Like you have a lot of confidence in veterans, not me.
I don't either. I don't have confidence in our veterans because they tend to mess up sometimes.
Really? Uh,
At least the Chargers. Anywho, speaking of the Chargers, it is now time for the Chargers and the 49ers update of the week. So as always, I will start with
yeah,
the
go for
Thursday
it.
night game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you have not watched it yet, me and Lee, actually, mostly me, did a reaction stream on Thursday night, and it was pretty cool. We were excited for the first quarter, and then unfortunately we had an intermission because I had to go take an exam, and Lee had to proctor an exam, and then right after I got out of the exam, I watched the rest of the game and reacted to it, and unfortunately Lee was still proctoring the exam because people decided to take all 3 hours of the exam time, which is kind of weird to me. Anywho, the game was it was fun. I watched the first quarter and maybe about half of the second quarter, and then I left for the exam and I watched the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, and the teams seem to be relatively even matched. I would say that both of these teams are at exactly the same level of play. They're both their strengths and their weaknesses pretty much complement each other in all the same areas. The defense is good at times and bad in other times. The offense has two really good quarterbacks and a ton of weapons on both sides. Obviously, we were talking about Travis Kelce, Hill. Is it Phillips? I think that's one of the receivers. 13 for Kansas City. Can't quite remember his name. But then on the Chargers side, we have Keenan Allen, Palmer. You have Jared Cook. You had Donald Parham Jr., but it seems like he's probably going to be out the rest of the season because of that really scary injury at the beginning of the game, where he goes down and it seems like his head had touched the ground first, and then he was like sliding, and that caused him to have like a really nasty concussion. So he had to be carted out to UCLA. But yeah, he's doing okay actually. A little update. If you follow us on Twitter, we were like retweeting his post on that he had made on Twitter with this message to all his fans and stuff like that. But yeah, so the teams were fairly matched, in my opinion. Like the running backs were pretty similar. They had Matthews on their side, and we had Eckler. They played their running back a lot more than us. We were in a rotation between Kelly, Eckler, and Jackson. And all three seemed to be doing relatively okay. I think Kelly was the worst one out of all the running backs that I saw that day. But the teams were going back and forth. The defenses were holding each other back. The only part that would have made a difference in this game was the Chargers' red zone offense, because they got to the red zone about 4 times and they did not score out of those 4 times. Now, one of those times, it was a fumble, and then the first play right after that was an interception from Chargers defense to set up a touchdown. The problem is that even if you discount that one, there are still 3 red zone trips from the Chargers where they could have scored points, and they decided to go on it at 4th down every time. And when you look at the score, if you exclude overtime, because the game went into overtime, the Chargers could have won the game by 12 points. And it really, I was not angry because I'm one of those guys, and at the moment, I did not question the call because it is Kansas City. They are a difficult opponent, and you don't want to leave. You want to increase your gap against a team like that as much as possible. So they went on it all 3 of those 4th downs. And unfortunately, every time that they went for it, I agreed because the score was so close. They didn't want to be behind Kansas City at any point. But unfortunately, their gamble for 4th down ended up costing them the game at the end because they did leave 12 points behind. I'm sorry, not 12, 9. They did leave 9 possible points behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I was saying, in overtime, our defense collapsed, but I believe that it did. Like, if you watch the live stream, I said, okay, it's going to overtime. It's literally whoever wins this coin flip is going to win the game. Because both defenses were out there a long time, and both offenses were doing really good. So if the Chargers would have gotten the ball, I truly believe they would have won. But the Chiefs got the ball, and they were also doing really well on offense in the 4th quarter. So they ended up winning the game. And I was not surprised. I was not angry. I was just disappointed that we lost.
Yeah, you sound very calm in the live stream.
Yeah, I don't blame the team at all. It was coaching decisions that lost the game. And to a certain extent, I don't blame the coaching decisions either because it was the heat of the moment. I just
Right.
hope that they can learn from this and we go for those guaranteed points against really difficult opponents because you do have to trust your defense at a certain point that they're going to come in clutch for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was a Chargers report. A lot going on there. I wish we would have won, but again, I do really believe that the Chargers and the Kansas City are 1-1 in terms of how good they are.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So, Lee, how was the 49ers game?
Yeah, we're doing amazing, but like you, I'm always nervous about my Niners. Hey, we did manage to sack Mac Ryan 3 times.
Very
That
cool.
was good. Jimmy was good. Jimmy was good. Like he complete 18 of his 23 passes, and so that was good. I think the longest pass he do was 36 yards. And so I thought that was pretty decent. We did manage to win 31-13, and so that was good. I think the first quarter was kind of like there were like some throws that I didn't really like. I was like, well, we didn't really go anywhere with the offense. But once they start getting the momentum going, we're able to continue to score. The special team at the very beginning was trash. It was not good at all. It's just like being a very typical Niners special team this season, just not good. But they were able to seal the deal and win the game. And so there should be no more narratives about like, oh, the Falcons always owns the Niners at the Levi Stadium. No, that's not true anymore. So we're able to take care of the business, improve our record to 8-6. But I think we have a good look in the next 3 games, which we'll kind of talk about it later. But overall, I think was good. I think I don't know what to say. I love George Kittle. I don't know if you love your tight end for Chargers, but I love George Kittle. Like it's amazing. Like this guy would not go down. Like sometimes you see like 6 guys have to jump on him to bring him down. Like I was like, dude. And then like if you listen to like some of the radios, they will say like, I wish Kittles would just like set his butt down so that way he doesn't get injured like that. Because when you have like 6 guys jumping on him, that is kind of scary though. And we need him for the remaining season and as well as the playoffs. So the fewer players we have on injury, the better. Because we can't really afford to have anyone injured anymore. Debo Samuel was amazing. Kyle Hushak, he's amazing too. Trent Williams, like he's good too. So overall, a really good game for the Niners, and I just hope that they continue the momentum and then hopefully win the next 2 out of the 3 games, if not all of them.
Yeah, so actually their teams have the same record right now. And I think they're in like an interesting spot where we're both in the wild card. We're both 8-6 and
how is this possible?
I don't know. Like we started out hot, then got a little cold, then we've been a little meh. But you guys started a little bad, and then you guys getting meh. Now you guys are getting pretty good.
Hey, look, if they actually end up like 11-6, as we predicted earlier, we should treat ourselves to a lunch or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Because right now the Niners are 8-6. So that means that they just need to win the remaining games to get to 11-6.
Yeah, and some of those teams in the NFC and the hunt. Again, we'll look at the playoff picture in a second. But yeah, some of those teams in the hunt aren't looking very, very good. There's a lot of variables for them to get in. While the Niners, all they have to do is hold their position. Because the Rams, I think, are a little too far for you guys. It all depends on the game tonight.
But it also depends because like some people say like they don't think that the Rams will win the next 3 games. That includes the one tonight. Well, no, tonight is their After tonight, they have 3 more games, right? So um, they were saying that, it doesn't look like the Rams will be able to win the remaining games. Let's say if they do, then Niners have a chance. There's also a possibility that the Cardinals they will continue to lose. And so if they continue to lose, then that create an interesting situation for NFC West. Um, and then Seahawks are not done yet, right? They have not been eliminated from the playoffs. So I think at this point,
And Russell
Niners just
Wilson's
have to
back.
keep winning. They can't lose any game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this segment. So now it is time to talk about the playoff picture. So
This is our favor.
yes. So here's the playoff picture right now. All right, Lee, which one should we start with? AFC or NFC?
So I'm looking for me. Honestly, I'm looking at the. It doesn't really matter, right? Because I think right now there are only 5 teams that are eliminated. Uh,
Yes.
and if you look at the standing, then maybe we should do with AFC. Then we'll talk about NFC.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in the AFC, we have in the number 1 spot the Kansas City Chiefs after beating the Chargers. So the Chiefs move up because the Patriots lost their game to the Colts. So the Chiefs are right now at 10-4. Patriots are the number 2 seed at 9-5. Titans, after losing to the Steelers, fall down another spot to 9-5. The Bengals finally show up and they claim the number 4 spot. They're in the lead in their division now, and they are 8-6. And the Colts jump up to the number 5 spot, where the Chargers were last week, and the Chargers fall down to the number 6 seed at 8-6. And the Bills are also holding on to their last spot right now at 8-6 as well. In the bubble, the Ravens actually fall out of the playoffs because they lost their game. The Steelers go up to the number 9 spot because they beat the Titans. And the Raiders, the Dolphins, and the Browns and the Broncos,
They all have the same record.
they all have the same records. In the order that I listed them is the order that they're in the playoff contention. So the Broncos are all the way down to 13, and the Raiders are in the number 10 spot.
It's wild. I think the AFC this season is weird because you've got a bunch of teams that have the same record right now. At least if you look at the Bengals all the way down to Ravens, they all have 8-6. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy to me because, well, again, another case of me being disappointed because if the Chargers would have won that game on Thursday, they would have been. No, they would have not been the number 1 seed. They would have been the number 2 seed.
No, they would be either number 2 or number 3. Feels like I don't know.
Because the Patriots beat us, I think we would have been in the number 2 seed because we would have had the exact same record as them.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. But yeah. Chargers falling down to number 6. Not incredibly happy about that. The Chargers went from an 86% chance to making the playoffs to a 75% chance of making the playoffs. I believe someone was outlining the scenarios on Reddit, and they can, to make the playoffs guaranteed, they have to win their next 2 games, and then they have there has to be one outcome on next week for them to be guaranteed in the playoffs. Obviously, the ideal thing is just to win out all their games, and then they're in for sure.
Yeah, but I also think that given the situations right now, I think as long as they keep on winning, I think they're definitely in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We will see if the Chiefs win their division not tomorrow, on Sunday, if they close it out. But that's for week 15 preview and predictions. All right, let's move on to the NFC, where one spot has already been decided. The
Packers.
Packers are guaranteed to be in the playoffs, and that makes them the number 1 seed right now. So they have the bye as far as right now concerns. They beat the Ravens. They knocked the Ravens out of the playoff picture, but they are in for sure now. Let's see. The number 2 spot goes to the Dallas Cowboys. They beat the Giants. Okay. You made it through your second bye week against the Giants. The Buccaneers actually fall down because they lost to the Saints in one of the most boring games I've ever seen in my life.
Well, we'll talk about that, and then we'll mention whether we regret like doing the live stream for that game.
And then the Cardinals also fall down to the number 4 seed because the Lions beat them. And that is something we will be talking about a little bit later. Number 5 seed is the Rams. There's no change going on there. The 49ers are incredibly close to passing them. And I'm sure you are hoping that they beat the Seahawks beat the LA Rams.
Yeah.
But I'm still hoping that the Rams win, because I do want to see I guess it doesn't matter, but I do want to see the Niners and the Rams in the playoffs.
I mean, I don't know if like Seahawks, that's one more game. Like if let's say if they lose tonight, maybe they're out right from the playoffs. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think if they lose today, they're out of the playoffs. Possibly.
Yeah. So the Reds better not give Seahawks any hope. Like if they give them any hope, it's kind of like scary too.
But the Rams do have 26 players in COVID protocol right now.
So you never know, right?
So you never know, exactly. 49ers, we had the 6th spot. Do you have anything to say here? Because you probably know more about the situation than I do.
I don't know. I feel like at this point, I just feel like Niners need to like be very careful. I think, I feel like that 6th seed is not really safe, because if you look at the numbers, the 7th seed, the Vikings, they're 7-7. So I wouldn't think that, they need to keep winning, because if not, then there's a possibility for any of the teams like Vikings or the Saints to take over the 6th spot, right? So you don't want that. So you need to make sure that you continue to win the game.
I agree.
Yeah.
The Vikings are the number 7 seed, like you were mentioning. And yeah, this 7th spot is going to be a really difficult one for teams. So we have the Vikings at 7-7, the Saints at 7-7. You have Washington football team at 6-7, and you have the Eagles at 6-7 as well. Those are the teams that I think likely are in contention for that last spot. I don't think the Falcons are in it. I don't think the Seahawks are in it. I don't think the Panthers are in it.
I think Panthers are out for sure.
Yeah, I think this week they'll lose. They'll lose to their next opponent, and they'll drop to eliminated.
But why is it the New York Giants are still there?
I believe it's a conference thing. They cannot make the wild card. I believe they have to win their division. No, that doesn't make sense either.
Because the problem is that aren't they in the same division as the Cowboys?
Yeah, never mind.
I don't know.
There are it's because they haven't played yet. Hold on. Yeah, okay. I think they played today. So hold up, let me double check this. No, what the heck? Why are they still on there?
Exactly, because they're on the 14th seed, and I don't think they have a chance to make into the playoffs unless there's something I don't know.
Everybody in the NFC would have to lose their game, I guess. That's possible.
Yeah, the next 3 games, they had to lose like
everybody ahead of them would have to lose their games.
Oh yeah, all of them. But like, how likely is that? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's weird. I think it's loser ties that are gonna. It's not gonna happen. They'll be eliminated after next week.
Yeah, basically.
We won't even see them on here. Okay, so that is the update for the playoff picture. Now it is time to quickly peruse through NFL Week 15, and we will recap as short as we can. So, here we go. Thursday night game, Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs, 34-28. We've already talked about this, so we will not be rehashing it. On the New England Patriots versus the Indianapolis Colts, Indianapolis finally shows up and beats a really decent New England Patriots.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. Is anyone surprised about this outcome? No.
No.
Dallas wins by a lot. The Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars in Tank Bowl. And this is for the number 1 draft pick in the NFL. And the Houston Texans says, no, thank you. We will take number 2. 30-16. Jacksonville officially has the number 1 draft pick this season. Again. Okay. The Tennessee Titans versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was an interesting game. We were talking about it before the ball had even been kicked off. The Titans saw the Raiders stepping on the Kansas City logo, and they were like, we should do that. And so they went and they stepped all over Pittsburgh Steelers logo. And then for the first time ever, I was rooting for the Steelers to win the game. And so they did. They showed up and
they won. We thought they wouldn't. They somehow managed to win the game. So the moral of the lesson: don't step on other teams' logo unless you can really win the game.
Nope, the football gods will punish you.
Yeah.
All right, the New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins in a game that absolutely no one wanted to watch. Miami wins, keeps their playoff hopes alive. Do you think anything will stem from this?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so either. I don't think any of these teams.
I mean, even if the Dolphins win, let's say get to 10-7, they probably not gonna make into it.
No,
because the last season was like a proof, right? They got 10-6. Nothing happened for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. The Arizona Cardinals versus the Detroit Lions in one of the greatest upsets in NFL history.
Yeah, this game was so bad. I feel like the Cardinals, I don't know, they didn't feel like they're themselves. I think they don't have the DeAndre Hopkins. That itself is a big difference, right? So it didn't look like the Cardinals that we know, right? So they lost that game.
Yeah, and we were saying the Cardinals were looking incredibly beatable last week, but I didn't really think that they looked this beatable. I didn't think the worst team in the NFL was going to beat them.
Yeah, what we're saying, so privately, we kind of exchanged messages about this. We chat about it where look, if any team that can be beaten by Lions, that means that any team can beat any team basically. So if Cardinals are beat by Lions, then that means that the Cardinals can be beat by any team.
Yeah, and I think that's been a highlight of this season, that no team is unbeatable. No team is safe from losing to a really odd team. It really is a week-to-week league at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next game. The Carolina Panthers versus the Buffalo Bills. you and I both got this prediction right. Buffalo completely destroyed Carolina. Um, it's not working out with Cam Newton. He is not good.
But I don't know. Like, do you think he's done pretty much? Like, do you
I
think
don't
there's a potential for him to be good?
I don't think he's ever going to be good again. I think he's past his prime at this point, and he's just good as a backup.
Yeah,
Even a
I mean,
backup, he's not that good.
I think he has that energy level, but I think I don't know. He's not as effective as he used to be. So
Yeah, and like we were saying, the league moves very fast.
mhm.
There's no time for you to develop. You have to be good the moment you step in.
Yeah.
All right. The Cincinnati Bengals versus the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, this one I think how do we call this one here? Like I'm not sure. Did we say Bengals?
Yes, the Bengals won, but they won because Teddy Bridgewater got injured.
It look really bad though.
Yeah, the season's pretty much over for the
Yeah, he's done for the season. He had to be carted out
yeah.
during the game.
Drew Lock is gonna start, which
Uh,
Drew Lock is like slightly worse than Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think anything's gonna come from it. I think he's wildly inconsistent. Obviously, he needs time to develop. I think no player like players don't develop in 2 years unless you're magic like Herbert or Mahomes. But I don't know. It's tough. I don't think the Broncos are gonna go anywhere. And at this point, I feel like they would have a better time getting a better draft spot than trying to make the playoffs.
so I was suggesting they should probably try to lose like their remaining 3 games. I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to be impartial, but I think so. Like they're
Yeah, I
banking
mean,
a lot on getting either Wilson or Rodgers, and if none of those options pan out, then what do? Do you start Drew Lock again, or do you try
uh,
drafting someone from this quarterback class coming up? Which
I don't
there's
know.
nothing on those guys either,
Yeah. I mean, every time when you have to draft someone new, you're risking something, right? Like,
especially quarterback.
oh yeah, because there's like a really high possibility that the quarterback will not pan out. Um, so yeah, maybe it would be wise for Broncos to kind of like say, look, we just lost our quarterback. Like, take it easy, trying to figure out what they need to do next season. But they need to address their quarterback issue. I don't think Bridgewater is a solution to the team.
No.
That's just unfortunate. Yeah.
And as much as Broncos fans want this to happen, I also don't think Rodgers or Wilson are a long-term solution to their problems.
No, no. If anything, I feel bad for Wilson. I feel like there's a high chance that if Wilson go to that team, he's gonna like see what he has to go and do with the Seahawks again in Broncos. It could be. I don't know.
I
So
mean, they have some good weapons on that team. I think the team is good, like really good. I just don't think the quarterback is good. That's the
yeah.
only piece they're missing. They have two shots at it, and I would think that maybe having a third option would also benefit them because there are a lot of teams, as we were discussing, that need quarterbacks. There's Carolina, there is the Saints, the
Oh yeah.
Lions, although they have a really long thing with Jared Goff.
Oh yeah, but then they're not sure. Like I've heard this thing where that they are not sure what's gonna happen at the end of the season. They might restructure his contract. Who knows?
Possibly. And if Matt Ryan retires, there's another opening there. So
And then same thing for for the Steelers, right? Like
Yeah, if Big
Steelers,
Ben retires,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
another
Big Ben might retire, and
there's a
then
lot of competition for quarterbacks this coming season, and I think it's more concerning to the Broncos to have as many options as possible than to
yeah,
try to make the playoffs.
yeah, because yeah, but I do feel like like Wilson and Rodgers, they're not going to be a long term solution. They're not young anymore, right? And and honestly, they're quite expensive. so
Yes.
so I don't know like how many years can you hold on to them. If anything, I would rather take Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson. Just because of the injury aspect. I just feel like Russell Wilson has been banged up a lot in Seattle. Um, I feel like in comparison, I think Rodgers has been injured less, so so he might be a better bet, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The Atlanta Falcons versus the San Francisco 49ers. You've already recapped this game.
Mm-hmm.
31-13. San Francisco holds on to that number 6 seed, and I don't think they're going to be moving anytime soon. I think the NFC is coming to a nice bow tie ending in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so.
Yeah. The Green Bay Packers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Green Bay absolutely made sure that the AFC is the craziest division conference out of the two, because now we have a bunch of teams in the AFC that have similar records that could end up in those wild card spots. And so Green Bay has secured their spot in the playoffs, guaranteed, but they have messed up the AFC as a result.
Yeah. Ah, man, I don't know what to say about the Ravens. Like, I think they have lost like 3 games in a row. Um, yeah, like they're like so close. Like, apparently, I heard that they had a chance to win this game, but I don't know. It's one of those things about like the fourth down decision. Um, so yeah, they didn't win this game. And so like I look at the score, it was so close, just by 1 point. So
Yeah. All right. The boringest game of all time.
oh my
The
god.
The New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lee,
What did we do? What did we sign up to like live stream that game? I just feel like that's a real football game. Yeah, like soccer, that's what I meant. Uh, because every minute it just would be one team punting the ball, the next minute another team punting the ball, and then we're just like live streaming and we're just looking at each other like, what the heck? Looks like going on? Like,
we started talking about other teams midway through the stream.
yeah, because it was so boring. Like, and there were like a bunch of commercials because they were taking timeouts. Um, it was just not going anywhere with the Buccaneers, and they got like 2 players injured during the game or something like that, um, or one. But
Yeah, the Tampa Bay had like 3 injuries.
oh my god, it was not good. And Brady was really frustrated because like you saw him like smash the tablet. Well, he kind of do it, and then that broke the tablet. Um, but yeah, he was not happy at all. The offensive wasn't working. Every time when I feel like, oh yeah, that get a first down, maybe that will change something. Nope, nothing happened.
Right. So yeah, gosh, this game was so boring. There's nothing more to say. Like, it literally is exactly what Lee was saying. It was a punt fest. It was a field goal fest for the first 2 scores, and then in the third quarter, I think there was another field goal, and then there was a shutout for Tampa Bay. Not something you usually see, but yeah, boring overall. If you missed it, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, but would you be optimistic about the Saints right now because they just beat the Bucks?
Uh, it's tough because I think they'll squeeze into the wild card spot if all the right things happen. I don't know. That last spot is very unpredictable in my opinion.
Yeah, but just kind of like based on the game we saw, I don't think Taysom Hill was all that impressive. I mean, he did okay, but the offense didn't really move anywhere,
No,
right?
Taysom Hill is horrible. Oh, yeah, he's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Again, like we were saying, another place that needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, Monday games. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cleveland Browns. This was delayed from Saturday's scheduled game, and COVID still affected it. And both these teams are now at 7-7, both trying to get into that last wild card spot. And the Raiders, well, they did this to themselves, and the Cleveland Browns are just a sad state of affairs because of COVID.
Yeah, there was a lot of expectation of Browns to do really well this season, right? At least at the beginning of the seasons, they were pretty hype up, right? People say, "Oh yeah, I think the Browns are gonna play really well," but yeah, they're sitting at 7-7.
Well, I think I'm one of those people who were expecting the Browns to be really good. I don't know what happened though. Like, is it just mediocre play? Because
Well, like they play on Mayfield, right? Baker Mayfield. They say like, "Oh, he looked like he's scared to do the bow," and then you have like the drama in the locker room, Odell and his dad, all those like little things, and then you have another like Browns players dad was saying that, yeah, there's a that Baker didn't look quite right with his shoulder, blah blah blah. Um, so there were like a little bit of drama in Browns, with Browns for a while, but I don't know. I don't know. It could be their schedule or probably the other teams were just playing much better.
right. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I think it was a weird season for the Browns. I don't know if they're still that team we saw a couple seasons ago.
No, last season they were fantastic.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If they squeeze into the playoffs, I'm not going to be complaining because I still think they're pretty decent.
Well, if not, we won't feel bad either. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not gonna feel. I'm not gonna lose sleep over the Browns not making the
No,
playoffs.
no.
It's something we're used to at this point. All right. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Chicago Bears. I
No
didn't watch this
surprise.
game. But yeah, Vikings won, and Justin Fields is not looking too great. As far as like the highlights and stuff like that. And only this is either 3 field goals or actually no, this is 3 field goals or a touchdown, a missed kick, and a field goal. So I don't know what's going on there. Not particularly any of my teams, so I don't really care. All right. Games for tonight, I guess. Seattle Seahawks versus the LA Rams. I guess we'll start with a prediction here because I guess the week's not over.
Yeah, the week is not over. Let's go with the Rams. That's me. We're not I'm not representing Joseph. I'm just saying I think the Rams still has a good chance, right?
Yeah, I think the Rams will beat him. Even if it's a close game because of Wilson, I still think the Rams got this. No reason to lose here.
Yeah, well, the Seahawks, they actually have quite a few players on COVID protocols too.
Oh.
So yeah, I think the Rams they have a good chance tonight.
Yeah, but they also have a lot of COVID people. We'll see who's out. I don't know. I don't keep up with their roster as close as I keep up with the Chargers.
Yeah.
It's more of my dad's team. He kind of keeps up with them. Like
No. I certainly think that the Rams will look okay tonight. Like, well, not actually tonight because they're playing pretty soon. They play at 4:00. So.
So yeah, we don't know who won yet. That game will be played, and then if you want an update from us, follow us on Twitter at the Jolie Podcast.
Right.
Can't mess it up. All right. Same time, Washington versus Philadelphia. Another game that got moved because of COVID. I don't care. I don't care who wins this.
Actually, now looking at the playoff picture, I don't really care. I just feel like, hey, they got to do something, right? They both are 6-7. If they really want to be in the playoff, they need to win the game. Like,
yep.
A low expectation for both of these teams. But if you're a fan of any team, you definitely want your team to win this one and continue to win the next three.
Yeah. I want Taylor Heineke versus Tom Brady too. Or
No, I don't think I don't think that's an interesting matchup to me anymore. I don't know. Like especially like looking at watching that game on Sunday, the Bucks versus the Saints. I'm just like, do I want to watch another game where like it's like going nowhere?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. And that's your opinion. I'd
Yeah.
like to see it again, but it's fine. It's
No,
fine.
no, no, no ego. Like I mean, Eagles versus like Bucks would be fun. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, so now we move on to week 16. Um and it starts on Thursday with your team, Lee.
Yay! So
The
we
San
have to.
Francisco 49ers versus the Tennessee Titans. This actually looks like it'll be a really interesting game.
I think it's a good matchup. I think the well, I'm gonna go for Niners, obviously. Um, I think we have a good shot. Like if we execute correctly, and I
Yeah.
think things will happen well for us. So so yeah, I hope the Niners will take this one on Thursday.
Yeah, I got the Niners here. They have a lot more momentum than the Titans. The Titans lost to the Steelers, which is not a
Man,
strong team at
and
all.
it's just like it was weird. I think the Titans should have won that game.
It was the football gods, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you shouldn't step on somebody's like logo.
All right, we got more Saturday games coming
Ooh,
up.
look at
We
this.
have the Cleveland Browns
And the
versus
Packers.
the Green Bay Packers.
And I think the
Christmas
Packers
Day.
will win this one.
Packers
Sorry.
got this.
Yeah.
No chance the other team.
Yeah, because the thing is that the Packers they don't have a lot of players on COVID protocol, like almost none, right? And the Browns have a bunch of them. Um, so I don't think the Browns will be able to win this one, honestly.
No. All right. Indianapolis Colts versus the Arizona Cardinals. Actually, these Saturday games are looking pretty good.
I'll go for Colts. Let's go, Colts. This is the first time. I'm just saying, like, let's go, Colts. Let's win this one.
I'm actually not rooting for the Colts because they're in that wild card spot.
I know. I
Going
know.
for the Cardinals here.
No, I just want to know if, like, let's say you. So honestly, I don't really care, to be honest. I just feel like if Colts win, does that mean that Cardinals are even more vulnerable in playoffs, right? Like they lost to the Lions. If they lose to Colts, oh, then there's something about the Cardinals. Like there's something to be said about the team, right? So it should be an interesting matchup, whether they win it or not.
I agree. Yeah, I got the Cardinals here.
Okay,
You
we'll
could be
see
right
what
too.
happened here. I thought the Colts should have lost like last time, like last week, but they won. So
All right, some 10 a.m. games on the 26th. You got the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody wants to watch this, especially if Philly loses tonight. So I got Philly,
You,
I guess.
yeah, you got the Phillies for sure. Uh, yeah, I would go with the Phillies too. I don't think Giants are that good.
No, I think they're awful. All right. LA Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings. More at stake here for the Vikings than for the Rams.
Rams.
So I think this will be an interesting game.
I think this is gonna be a close game, to be honest. I feel like the Vikings has that weird vibe. I don't know why it's a weird vibe. This whole season, they're always like very close. Like the scores, even if when they lost, they lost by 3 points or just by one score, like by one score, like possession, right? Um, so I don't know. I feel like the Vikings might have a chance. And this is one of those where I said that I don't think the Rams will win the remaining 3 games, all of them. I think they might lose a game or two. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I think if the Rams beat them, it'll be very difficult for them to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, especially with other teams winning, and that last like spot being battled over other teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it might be over if the Rams win here, but you know, someone who's has more expertise in playoff scenarios could probably tell me different. But I expect the Rams to win here, especially
They,
if they get all their players back from COVID protocol.
yeah. Hopefully they will be back on time, right?
Yeah. All
Mm-hmm.
right. The most interesting game out of the 10 a.m. games, at least for me, the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots. I'm actually rooting for
Rematch.
the Bills here.
Yeah, this is a rematch. I think the Bills need to win this one, but you don't want them to win, right?
Well, I want the Bills to win because it's possible that the Chargers can climb up back to either the number 2 seed or the number 1 seed. A lot of things have to happen,
Right.
but one of the
So
things is that Buffalo has to beat the New England Patriots.
I think it's doable. I mean, the Bills is not a bad team. It's just like somehow the things didn't go well for them, for the last few weeks.
Right. Okay, more 10 a.m. games. We got Tampa Bay versus the Carolina Panthers. I got Tampa Bay here.
Yeah, nobody cares about that game.
All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New York Jets and Tank Ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jaguars should just lose this game. Just like secure that
Clinch
draft
the number
position.
1 draft pick.
Yeah, why not? Because right now I think that the Lions were like what Lions are 2-11 and 2-11-1.
The Lions are the number 3 seed.
Right,
Jacksonville is the number 1 seed. No,
right.
number 1 seed. Oh my goodness.
In the draft position, basically.
In the
Yeah.
draft position, yes.
Yeah. So the Jaguars need to make sure that they're at number one, not number. Well, I mean, technically, if you're at number 2 or number 3, it's still pretty good, you know.
Yeah. All right. The Detroit Lions versus the Atlanta Falcons. Who do you got?
Falcons.
I got the Lions, baby. I got the Lions winning.
Let's try
again.
this again. The Lions. Oh
I got
my
the
God.
Lions winning again. I think
They're amazing.
they found a rhythm. In a sea of mediocrity and disappointment, I think they've found some rhythm.
Yeah, well, Falcons. I think Falcons are just gonna be Falcons. Like, I don't think we can expect much more from them anymore this season.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right. The LA Chargers versus the Houston Texans. I got the
Chargers.
Chargers, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Quick, easy. All right. The Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Interesting
Ooh,
game.
and um, I want to see like Ravens win. Come on, like they have the potential, but it would be terrible to see them like lost 4 games in a row. So I was like, no, let's go Ravens.
Well, I believe if the Bengals win,
Yeah.
they have the division. If the Bengals lose, they drop out of their playoff seat. They drop out of the playoffs.
But that's just one game, right?
Because Baltimore will switch spots with them.
Right.
And I believe there's like other games that like factor into it too. So it's just really wild stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I have
You have the Bengals, huh?
see, I think I got the Bengals.
Yeah.
I
I think the Bengals, they seem to be more promising at this point. Like, at least they have some offense
they
going.
don't have an injury with their quarterback. Lamar is still out.
Yeah.
Okay. Chicago Bears versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, Seahawks. Yeah, I think the Seahawks should win this one.
They're both in the same position, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, you know what? This one will be very interesting.
The Super Bowl.
I think this one is gonna be super interesting because can Chiefs somebody from Chiefs step on the logo and then that will inspire the Steelers
to win again.
Yeah,
I
really
maybe need Pittsburgh to win this one.
I just
need
feel
the Chargers back at the number 1 seed.
Right. But I feel like Steelers, they're playing at a very slow pace game. Like it's just unbelievably slow. I think it's just their playing style. Like Big Ben is not like I don't know, maybe it's the Big Ben's playing style. They're just like it's not interesting. Like if they win, the score probably will be like 19-11 or 19-12 or 19-13. Or maybe like 21-17. I don't think anything too flashy will happen, but I could be wrong,
No, but if Mahomes continues his interception streak, I think it's possible for Pittsburgh to win this.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, a game that I dread watching, but the Denver Broncos versus the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, don't watch this game.
No, I have to watch this game.
I don't really like both teams.
I need to make sure that the Raiders get eliminated.
They might win this one.
Yes, but I'm rooting for the Broncos.
What do you expect from Broncos? They don't have Bridgewater anymore.
No, I don't think they're going to win, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, but there's a chance that the Raiders might choke too. So
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you got here? I think you said you had the Raiders.
No, sorry, Raiders. Yeah.
Okay. Washington football team versus the Dallas Cowboys. Is this a third or fourth matchup? No, it has to be the third.
Okay, let's just say that Cowboys is better than the football team. I just have to be honest here. I don't know I don't think there should be a debate anymore. I just think the Cowboys are better this season.
It was a 1-score game last time. I think Washington can beat them. They've done it before. It's 1-1 right now.
Yeah.
I got Washington.
Yeah, you just want to see them play against the Bucks. That's what you want.
Okay, and then finally the Monday game, Miami.
Oh my God,
New Orleans. Who is going to watch this? Not me.
Oh, you know what? I think the Dolphins might win this one. The Dolphins is always weird.
But the New Orleans defense looked really good, so I think I'm going for them.
Well, but their offense is trash.
Their offense is trash, but Tua is. I don't want to call him trash, but he's okay. He's okay.
I mean, yeah, I think I think the Dolphins might have this one. We'll see what happens. I don't think that the Dolphins defense is not that bad either. So
no.
Yeah.
All right, Lee. Well, we have covered all of last week and the predictions for this week. Did we talk about Urban Meyer getting fired?
No, do we want to talk about that? I don't think we want to talk about that.
So basically, since this will be the nicer version of the podcast and not during a random live stream, so basically the Jaguars decided to fire Urban Meyer, and this stems from all the other previous stuff that had happened with him, and also the fact that he had actually kicked a player. We don't know how intense the kick was, but according to some rumors, it seemed that he had kicked him in a spot where he had previously had an injury, which is incredibly unprofessional, especially with professionals. And it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just doesn't think his team was any good,
Yeah. And then once he was fired, he was on an interview with somebody, and you could see the reflection from like a mirror in the back, or not a mirror, but like from glass in the back. And he was in a trailer, and then someone walked in, and like they were not dressed, or they were in like a towel, and it was so bizarre.
Yeah, where was he? He was at a party or something.
I have no idea, but it was so weird. This guy is crazy. How he had a job before this is honestly surprising, especially with everything that's coming out on him now. It's like, dude, like, where is your sense of professionalism?
But I think he will be back to broadcasting like soon. Like I think maybe some group will just hire him again to do like, oh, we'll have you back to be an analyst, you know?
God, I hope not. I don't want to see him anywhere near a television.
Well, at least like if he's becoming, like if he's hired as an analyst for NFL, maybe for any network, maybe he will be able to. I'm interested to see like what he would say about the Jaguars. You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
That would be a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we already went over all the COVID stuff, and then the NFL PA. I guess we didn't talk about this aspect of it, or actually we kind of did. But in short, yeah, they decided to change the COVID protocols for the NFL. So now you only have to be, you only need one negative test. You don't need 2 in a row now. And you can play if you're asymptomatic. What do you think about this decision?
I don't know. I think this is just to keep the game going without delaying, like postponing any game. But in the long term, I don't know if this is a good decision. I mean, you could get COVID, no symptom, but you could still spread it. So, do they see that?
It's.
I mean, like, do we see it as more like a common cold? Like, oh, you get it, okay, not big deal. You're gonna be fine.
Maybe in the future it'll be like that. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I just don't feel like maybe at this point, not a lot of people have a lot of like enough study about like what is the long term effect of having COVID. You know, like so I think this is where like NFL is they're not quite sure like what to do. Like you can't get rid of it. You know, if you have players traveling around, you still have fans at the stadium. Players are in contact with their friends and families. Then this is inevitable, right? Like you're gonna get it somehow,
right?
But it's like, what do you do then, right? Like if you look at the Rams, they have like 24 players got COVID, or not COVID. I'm sure should say like they're being put on COVID protocols. Like, what do you do then? Like, I'm pretty sure they would love to have like postponing their game by 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure they will love that, you know, so that they have all their players back. But that's just not the reality. So
no, and
I think this is hard. Yeah,
I don't think a game will ever get postponed further than a week because it just doesn't make sense. I also don't think they would ever move a game from 1 week to another to like Saturday or a third. I think pretty much like Thursday 4 they would never touch that area.
Yeah,
but Monday, Tuesday is pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I mean the most they would be willing to move is by a day or 2 or 3. That's all. I don't think they would do more than a week.
Right. I think
tough.
That's the right call. I think Wednesday is probably also viable. But I just don't know if they're going to do that. Obviously, like, if you're the NFL, you have to consider that, you know, certain teams have playoff implications. So, like, let's say the Jaguars are asking you to move their game to Tuesday. I think that's a hard no. Just because, like, there's nothing going on for them. Now, if it was, like, a wild card team, like the Browns or the Raiders or... you know,
yeah, then they're a high stake,
move
right?
Those games because those games matter. So I agree with the NFL here, because once you start getting into the conversation of delaying games for more than 2 weeks, I think the conversation starts of should we be even having having a season if it's that.
Yeah, maybe they say, oh, let's just pause the season.
Which I think is bad too.
Yeah, they NFL will lose a lot of money from that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of the show, and we would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Before you
Happy
leave,
holidays.
follow us on our social medias. You can follow me at Zephyr the Scribe. I tweet about football and wrestling things, mostly Chargers things, mostly All Elite Wrestling things. And you can follow Lee if he lets you at Amos Lee Huang. And you can follow us both on our Twitter page at the Joe Lee Podcast on Twitter. So follow us in all of those areas. And once again, for Joseph Yanez, this is my partner Lee. We wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Have a good one.